Okay. Hello, namaste, and welcome back to Disha in Australia. So, I'd quickly like to start with the acknowledgement of the country. We would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Naginmal and Grambi people, and we pay respect to the elders past, present, and emerging. We acknowledge that the name Madiwadi Nation was taken from the Woroni people, and we strive hard to do better for future reconciliation. Okay, so welcome back to Disha in Australia. This is a very special episode that is talking about all the international student essentials, everything that you need to know before coming to Australia or any other country. I know that the intake for international students in US, Canada, and the UK has already begun with the September intake, and now um, we are here with the Australia intake, which is coming in February 2026 and July 2026. So, this is a jam packed episode talking all about international student essentials that you need to know. Okay, all right. So, I will start with a couple of things and we'll go in the chronological order. So, I reckon the first things that are very something that comes in our mind is about bills and what are the first few things that you need to be aware of when you come to Australia. Um, I guess one thing that I want to share as someone who has lived abroad for 3 years now is that when you first come to a new country, do not try to overwhelm yourself with trying to know everything because you cannot know everything. Take this as an experience. This is also, in a way, that you are going to a different country, so you would want to learn their experience, you would want to learn about the culture of the country, you would want to learn about the people, about the place, about the nation. And once you get a hold of that, it's easier to step into other things because, to be fair, to be very honest, the first things that you need to have is a social connection. Your social connection is the first thing that you need to form as soon as you enter into a new country. It's not the jobs, it's not your bills, it's not making money, it's not anything. The first thing that you need to do is create social connections, learn the country, understand the people, make friends, and have a good time with those friends. That's how you start in a new country. um, and then after that you can start looking out for different things. So in terms of the bills, which is the first thing we started, so when you move into a new country, the first thing that you would obviously need to be mindful is your rent. So there are two options for accommodation in Australia. On campus accommodation and off campus accommodation. On campus accommodation are usually a little more expensive than off campus accommodation, but on campus accommodation helps you stay close to your classes, form a good social connection, and stay around your community. And also, being on campus is a really nice feeling. I would suggest for your first year of uni, people should experience living on campus. After your first year you can move out, and that's why social connection is important, because you can form friends and then you can move out later after you have formed that friends that can move out with you, so you don't have to like do it all by yourself. You have people that are there with you to do that. Okay, so other than that, there's off-campus accommodation. So now there's a lot of websites that offer off-campus accommodation for students. Um, you can find them in your own home countries, and you can find these websites that take you to these off-campus accommodations. One really good thing is Facebook groups. So Facebook groups have rentals, housing, share houses, and stuff like that that you can look out at. And but it's harder for you to get those share houses because A, you have never been to this country, B, you cannot inspect. So what if your house is like 20 kilometers away from uni and you do not have a car, so you need to travel like an hour every day to get to the place where you want to live. So the safest option in this case to choose an on campus accommodation. So everything is pretty much sorted there. You go there, you don't have to worry about, like in my case, I didn't have to worry about paying rent right at the moment I started. I just gave my passport, did an identity check, and I was all good to go. And I was like able to pay rent in the next 7 days when I felt a bit settled in. So uni does take care of you in really nice ways. So you don't have to like overwhelm yourself or be really stressed. And then they have SR groups or like seniors from your own community that are there supporting you. So there would be your seniors, the people that have already lived into those residential colleges or halls, that will help you figure out stuff. Like for me, in my first year, I didn't even know how to like open the blind. So I literally took the senior residential help to like help me open the blind and like close the blind. So in this case, on campus accommodation comes in really handy and really useful. um, in terms of the proper rent, if we have to share on campus accommodation for halls, the rents are usually between $300 to $350, and lodges are between $350 to $500. Lodges provide you with a more private space. So if you are someone who likes having the private space and like private room, private bathroom, private showers, um, then lodges are an option for you. I would suggest that if you are a first year, lodges can be really, really isolating. So I would suggest going to a hall because that's a good way to form community. I've lived in both hall and lodge, and I would 100% recommend a hall over a lodge. Um, okay. Second thing, groceries. Okay, now this is a very interesting sphere. Now it depends on how your diet is. For me, in my first year, I had a strict limit of $30 per week for my groceries. I know this sounds really, really brutal, but to be very honest, I follow a predominantly vegetarian diet. And so it was really not that hard for me to get groceries per week for $30. And also one of the reason I set my limit to $30 was because that was the only amount I was earning a week, because I was doing own tutoring, and that used to pay me $30. I was like, that's the amount I'm going to put out for my groceries so that there's at least one thing I'm paying by myself. But to be very honest, it wasn't hard getting $30 worth of groceries. Like, um, if I genuinely talk about it, if you get like four beans, like red kidney beans, chickpeas, lentils, and whatever, those canned are like $1 each, and then you get rice, which are $2. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna justify how it's like how it happens, but I would still say like you can set a limit and you can stick to that limit. Hello to the people who have tuned in live. If you have any questions about your international student experience, please put it in the chat. I have. So, as I was saying about the diet and groceries, so I mean, it's really easy if you budget stuff so that you do not go overboard and you have put down a particular limit for everything. Um, I used to also put down like a certain amount for entertainment and stuff per month. Now, like after 3 years of living abroad, I could put it weekly because like now I can afford that. But like my first year was an actual broke uni student experience where I had no budget allocated for all of this stuff. So going to free uni events was my entertainment. And actually that was more fun than this, like really, like because you and your friends just go out to all the random uni events. You'll be there every time for free food, for fun, everything. And so I guess that again goes back to community. So if you form that social connection, it becomes it becomes easier for you to manage all the stuff. um then comes jobs. Where do you apply for jobs? Where do you get your first jobs? How do you get recommendations? How do you get referrals? So everyone, when you will come to Australia, people will tell you print out your resumes and distribute it to every place that you know. Go about the central malls, shops, every place that you know, go and give those resumes. Well, I won't deny them. That's a good way. But also the fact that everyone is following the same thing. Well, one thing I would like to highlight, my first job was also through this method. So I also distributed my resumes like that. Unfortunately, one of my friend who worked at a shop that had my resume, when the manager was taking the pile of those resumes when my friend was leaving to hire someone else, and she saw my name and she said, oh my god, I know this girl and I think she'll be a good fit for this. I got the job within the same day. So yes, it does help. But what also helps is if you apply both online and offline, and when you hand out your resumes, just do not hand them out. Like have a conversation with the manager, have a conversation about the brand. Like why do you want to apply to this brand? Why do you want to work with them? A lot of places have so many open opportunities. I don't really find applying online that useful unless you are also emailing the hiring manager. That is very important and a crucial thing. So now these kind of things get you your first jobs. Now, when you are entering into your field jobs, networking helps. Now, handing resumes in this part would not help, but telling about yourself would help. Now, you do not have to wait until your third year to tell about yourself and the skills that you have and what you do and what you study and what do you enjoy. You do not have to wait till third year to do that. You can start doing it from your first year itself. You can start talking about it, um, and start attending networking events, start being in the startup community or in your tech community or wherever community you find yourself in. Start going to those events. Maybe the first time that you're speaking to them is not about that you want a job, it's about genuine interest into a particular topic. Let's say you're in healthcare and you have a genuine interest in new techniques that are being developed to, for specific disorders, and you want to have a chat about that. So you're having a genuine chat about it, and you're not just like, I need a job, can I talk to you? No, that's not how we're connecting with people. So recommendations and referrals. So I live in Canberra, which is a very small knit community. And so people know each other, so your recommendations are going to work in that way. Now, this can be taken in a both positive and a negative approach. So if you did really good stuff, people are going to talk good about you. And a lot of people will know you without even you introducing to them. People get connected to LinkedIn super fast. You will have mutual friends, mutual connections, mutual companies that you might have attended some events at, or some people might have seen you somewhere, heard about you from somewhere. So this could work out in your favor in a way that, if you have had previous work experience at some place and you mention it to someone and they know that place and that place had a good reputation in their head, so you're automatically being connected and things wire up and it becomes super easy. But it could work negatively as well. Maybe some things didn't go well and that led to a little bit of a mess, and that could actually create a mess. Well, that's the ups and downs of living in a small knit community. But if you're living in a big city, recommendations and referrals work through your networking skills. It's important to remember that you're not just meeting people so that you can get something out of them, but you genuinely want to be a connection with them. You're not like there to just say like, I need this from you, that's why I'm talking to you, because that's really selfish, first of all. And also people would not be willing to help you out if you have like a particular reason to even have a chat. And so, but some people could be really straight up to the point and be like, okay, tell me what's the point of this conversation. And then you can be straight up clear and tell about how you can mutually support each other. But a lot of times it's important to remember that not everyone is going to be on that same page. So it's important to build a rapport first before you can start asking for favors or start giving favors. Now, asking and giving is something really important. If you're asking for favors, you might have it back on you. And so be very mindful of what you are doing. um Again, I want to highlight this. There's so much rejection when you first apply for jobs, and not just first apply for jobs. Till this date, I hear rejections all the time, and that actually makes you stronger. I take it as a thing like universe just filters out things that are not meant for you so that you go into something that is actually meant for you. Now, talking beyond that, I genuinely believe in that, because a lot of things you just like blindly apply. You do not even mean to apply for these positions or do not want to do it. And so you will be hearing 100 no's before you hear a yes. And that is something very, very important to keep in mind. Have a thick skin. You will be hearing a lot of no's. Like if you are someone who in like completely in high school or like uni had like all yeses, all victories, it's not the same life here. You're not in that much privilege. I have felt this so many times that the privilege that we feel in our own country is not the same, because like you need to start doing things by yourself. You do not have your parents or your loved ones or anyone that is going to take care of stuff for you. You have to do it by yourself. One more important tip that I want to give is please bring your driver's license, because it's so hard without it. And as someone who does not have it right now, I would say please bring your driver's license. So, funny story time, I did start learning driving. I did drive, and then I ended up crashing. Sad times. But after that, I haven't touched the car. So, I have decided I'm going to go back, get my driver's license, and start driving. But we all learn from mistakes. And honestly, because I've been living in Canberra, I didn't require a car that much because everything was in the city and I live in the city and live on campus. So I didn't require that, I didn't feel the need that I need to have a car. And that could be a very big investment as well. So if you're in your first year, I would not recommend, because like, think about it, if you're just putting $10,000 on a car, is this giving you the same output that you want, or are you just saying taking it to make your life convenient? Because to be fair, public transport is pretty good, and so, and it goes to most places, so you don't have to really worry about that. um but you can think about having a car in your second or third year, because like, there would be a lot of jobs that would require you to travel from one place to another. Even though public transport is good, it is not that reliable, and it's important for you to have your own transport in a lot of jobs. And sometimes that becomes a hassle if you don't have it. So, like disability support worker, peer support worker, peer workers, youth workers, all these jobs require a car, behavioral support practitioners as well. So, in these cases, you would need a car and a driver's license. So, if you are free at your home right now, if you're done with uni, school, whatever, and you still have 4 or 5 months before you come abroad, one thing I would highly suggest is start driving and get equipped with the skills that you need. Um, okay, so we have talked about bills, budgeting, jobs, accommodation, education. Oh my god, that's the most important thing. So the assignments, specifically in context of Australia, is something that I've never done in India. So, like, except for exams, which is like super common, and you do exams all the time, right? Um, but the assignments are really practical here, and you need to apply the knowledge that you have learned from your courses in your assessment, which I used to find super annoying in my first year because I was so tired of the referencing styles, of like getting to know what is in-text citations, and like how do I keep them, where do I start doing them, what alphabetical order you need me to do it, and like what research do you want, what is critical analysis. I had no clue, because back home we don't do these assessments, and I came straight out of high school. um and so it was a good learning experience, learning about these things, but I'll give you a heads up, there would be a lot of assignments. But a good part about these assignments is that you just do not put it in terms of a way that, like, these assignments are something that you need to write. It is something that actually challenges you and make you write what you have learned in your course in that piece of paper. And that is something I really appreciate about uni. And the assignments could also be presentation, group project. There was a podcast project that I had last week, which was very interesting. So you get to have different activities that you get to do, which makes it easy. I would say take your education as a journey. It's the whole reason you are here. And so it's, make mistakes, learn from them, take it as a journey, take it as an approach that you are striving to become a better version of yourself in every single way possible, every single day. And things just get better. And I would say people here are really, really supportive in terms of, if you don't know how to do stuff, ask your tutor, ask your professors, ask the academic support team, ask the student central, ask them, because they are there to help you, and you have paid enough money to ask for that help without any hesitation. You need to understand and remember your worth every single time, because it is something to be remembered very, very importantly. People, like, hesitate and do not ask for support, but you are entitled for all of these services that are available because you have paid for it. So when you pay for your tuition fee next time and it comes with the service and amenities fee, remember that you are paying for all these services. Take use of all the events, take use of all the free food on campus, obviously leave some for rest as well, and all the resources that are available on campus. These places are there to help you. um, and yeah, in terms of assessments, again, one thing I really, really want to suggest is, please manage your time effectively. um, do not put stuff at the last minute, because I took so many things on my plate in my first year that I actually got a burnout in my life for the first time. And that was not a good feeling to have, to be honest, because um after my exams were over, I was so burnt out. Like, I had so many events that I did, I had so many assignments, studies, work. Oh my god, I was completely burnt out. Like, towards the end of November in my first year, the only thing I wanted was to go back home and sleep for 3 months, and that's exactly what I did. I went back home and I was sleeping for the whole 3 months as if I haven't slept my whole year in Australia. But yeah, that was actually true because I took so many things on my plate. I was so burnt out. But I would still say it was one of a kind roller coaster experience that I would never, ever, ever regret in my life. But it did lead me to a burnout stage. And so I would say it's important to take part in activities for your cultural enrichment and like to just like fill your cup, but have a bit of limit on that. But other than that, it's good and it's really fun to be a part of that social cultural environment. um, I also took my first year as a way to get connected with people across the world, and so I did a lot of recipe exchanges with people, and I guess that was my way of connecting with people. But you all figure out your own ways of connecting with people, and doing things. And so again, social connections really, really help a lot. Like, even today, I'm sitting here doing a show telling about international student experience and international student essentials right now. This whole thing of me talking here is also through a social connection I made. So, a story, I don't know how many times I've mentioned this, but um, just before I got the show, I asked my producer from my first year, who was my friend at that time, that I saw that you work at Veroni and I've been really looking out for opportunities. That exact same day, at the middle of the night, he tags me into a post which says that, oh, we are accepting like Veroni radio show host applications. And I got my show within 2 weeks of that conversation. So I'm not even kidding. I'm just saying that your connections are your net worth. So, how they say it, your network is your net worth. It's not a lie. Do not take it as a lie. And it is something that you need to really consider when you're when you're starting your life abroad. Um, okay. So, we have done bills, accommodation, education. What is left? Oh, okay. In terms of bills, I forgot to add. So you'll have your phone bills, but one strategy I would like to mention is get your first phone bills on a student discount. So you pay like around 50% less of your student bill. So in my first year, I got Optus, which is at $52 a month. But since my first year, I've been only paying $30 a month. And that's the student discount that you get to have with these services. Your student ID is so very important. It gets you discount at so many places. Like, in my first year, we used to have the Domino's discounts. Every time I used to order from Domino's, I used to get 33% off thanks to Unidays. So Unidays, all these websites, local pegs, or these places, they offer incredible student discounts. Your student discounts helps you save so much money. Oh, I remember this one airline, Sri Lankan Airlines. They give you 40 kgs to carry if you have a student ID. Sometimes you only get 20 kgs when you pay so much money. So getting 40 kgs to transport your life is actually much better than 20 kgs. So take advantage of your student ID as much as you can. In terms of airline, no one asked this question, but I'll still share my airline experience so you can choose the best airline for yourself. Well, honestly, my top number one airline has been always Singapore Airlines. I think they're just the best in terms of how they do it, and I like the atmosphere inside the plane. The food is good, the tablets, the movies, everything works, and they have nice desserts. It's not sponsored by Singapore Airlines. It's just my personal experience. I've actually really loved traveling with Singapore Airlines every single time, and it's like a good service with from Asia to like Australia. So I would generally really recommend that. Um, Second one is Sri Lankan Airlines. Sri Lankan Airlines gives you 40 kgs to carry, which is really good because, like, you have to carry your whole life and move to a country, and so 40 kgs is not a bad deal to get. So Sri Lankan Airlines were really, really good. I loved them. The food was good too. And I really like Fiji Airways. Like, Fiji Airways would come before Sri Lankan Airlines, but I'm sure like they do not carry a lot of like passengers from Asia to Australia. But if you're coming from Fiji, Fiji Airways, love them. One of my favorite airlines so far. Um, Air Asia, a really good and a very cheap flight. Um, like, not that cheap, but significantly cheaper than all the other airlines, which makes it really, really affordable and easy. And if you're smart, you will take advantage of all their layovers. Air Asia flights have always had a 14, 15 hours layover in Malaysia, and Malaysia is visa free for most of the countries, and you just need to sign a travel arrival card. And so every time I'm traveling with Air Asia, I look forward to those 15 hours in Malaysia because Malaysia is beautiful. The food is amazing, everything is super good, and I just like have a quick stop over in Malaysia and travel Kuala Lumpur or like a nearby city and then come to Australia. And I think it's really good for that, like the price they offer. It's one of the cheapest airlines I travel with, and I get to like have 15 hours in Malaysia in that price. Like, insane, absolutely insane. 100% recommend them. um Although, one thing you need to remember is they're non-cancelable, non-refundable. So I had a case this year where I had to cancel my flight, take an earlier flight because I got a job in my mental health field and I needed to be there on a specific day. So I had to cancel my flight, but I couldn't cancel my flight because they're non-cancelable, non-refundable. Their staff is not friendly at all. I'm not talking about like the online one because there's no one you'll be connected to online except for that bot who does nothing. And then offline, when you see them at the Delhi airport or in their offices, they're not friendly at all. Like, I was so pissed off. I did just watch for AirAsia, but also I take my words back because the staff is not friendly at all. I do not like them. Um, I think AirAsia, if you ever end up listening to this, please train your staff to be more empathetic, more kind, and how to talk, please. Um, Anyways, moving apart from Air Asia, there's this one airline that I really liked as well, which I cannot seem to remember the name. Oh well, never mind. It was just in my head, but now I forgot. Oh, Scout is good as well. Scout is a budget-friendly Singapore Airlines baby one, which is also nice. There's one more I'm forgetting. Okay, never mind. We'll come back to that later. Um, okay. Coming to finding jobs. So a lot of the jobs that you'll find as your first jobs would be generally like tutoring. So tutoring was my first job. So there's a lot of companies around that hire tutors. So if you have like good grade and you know how to teach, it's pretty easy to get a tutoring job. But what's difficult is to get clients. Okay, so sometimes these companies provide you clients, sometimes they onboard a huge ton of people and you need to apply for jobs, and then the client chooses which tutor they need. And now that becomes harder because now everyone has these competitive rates, and it becomes like you're actually running for $30 an hour, which I would say in my first year felt like a lot, but now I would not do that. So yeah, your first jobs you would be usually tutoring. The second job could be around retail hospitality. That's what I did as my um, first outside tutoring job, which was working in retail, and I actually really, really enjoyed my experience. It depends on the people you're working with as well. And so, talking about the rates, now, retail and hospitality jobs, they pay you the minimum wage. So when I started as an 18-year-old, my wage was $20 an hour. So yes, I would again fight for tutoring in this case because it was $10 more and it was work from home. Um, but these tutoring rates keep increasing as you increase in your experience. I would say um, tutors are also one of the most highest paid jobs you can do in university. Like on campus tutorings are like university actually pays over $100 an hour to tutors. So I would say it's a really nice job, but you need to build up on your experience, um, and that comes with the small gigs that you start and you slowly take your way up. um, and then the retail and hospitality jobs, they have minimum wage. So if you're an 18-year-old, your base salary would be $20, which would be more on weekends. It could, like in my first year when I was 18, I remember it was like $35 an hour on the weekend. I used to go crazy about it because $35 an hour is good. It keeps increasing as you grow in age. So at 19, I guess it's 24, and then when you're 20, it's like 26 or something. So they have like $2 or $4 increase every year, which makes it nice, and stuff like that. And then the other jobs you will be finding would be on campus jobs. So there's a lot of jobs that get posted on campus. So student ambassador jobs, research assistant jobs, um, and like all the student jobs. So like student leader, marketing, helping in terms of particularly like gardening or whatever. So these are like all the uni jobs that get advertised and they pay good. So you move from minimum wages to like subtle nice wages like $40 an hour, like that becomes good wages after that. But I guess you need to go through that experience process before you can enter into these things. um, One thing I would genuinely really recommend is volunteering. um, it gives you experience. B, it's very very fulfilling. Like it's good to do something without having the thought that I'm doing it because this is giving me something. It's genuinely out of love and like your genuine interest that you want to do it, and people see that. Okay, whatever you do, it gets noticed. So you need to keep that in mind. So you can start exploring into different things through volunteering, and that makes things easier, and it also counts in your resume. And a lot of the times it also gets counted in terms of like as a student you get to like have these volunteer awards. So if you have like achieved a minimum of these hours of volunteering, you also get an award. So I think that looks really fancy on your LinkedIn and resume. um, and then after that you move on to internships, you move on to your field jobs, which pay you absolutely much higher than the minimum wage jobs. But it's not like a very big jump. You could go to like $45 an hour. But it is still a good thing because you get start actually working in your field and you get a lot of exposure within that, which makes it really nice and gives you a lot of exposure, which is a really nice experience. And so I would 100% recommend going gradually and slowly and learning that. um, for me in my university life, I did a lot of freelancing because I couldn't justify getting paid $30 or $20 to myself for the work I've done, because I've always like been very proactive, and I've always known my worth enough to like know that I deserve better than this. And so I did have like my broke student life in my first year, but then I also decided this is not the life that I want to live. So I started freelancing. I did freelancing in a lot of stuff. The best part about freelancing was choosing my own pay. So like it's not that you are telling me that you're going to pay me $30 an hour. I am telling you that you will be paying me $60 an hour. You can negotiate with me and we can come to a middle ground, but I decide my worth. And that's a very, very powerful thing. And I think freelancing has made me confident in ways that I never was, in terms of understanding my worth, in terms of understanding what are the different opportunities I can hop to, or in just in terms of understanding that what is my skill set, what are the things I can monetize. And so far, like I realized so many things that I could monetize. Like this is gonna sound crazy, and this is the most unheard niche freelancing work I've done, which is teaching Hindi. Now people learn a lot of languages, And I didn't know people were interested in learning Hindi, especially diplomats. So I taught Hindi to diplomats in Australia in my first year, and that was my first like freelancing role. And I really enjoyed it. I felt so much connected to my culture. I felt I was using the knowledge I've learned through all these years, and I didn't have to learn a new skill. It was something that I already had in me. I knew Hindi, I knew about my culture. I was just teaching people about it. um, and you can be smart enough and you can put down things. Like, I used to like integrate field trips to like Indian restaurants to try Indian food, Indian festivals to get the essence, Indian dance classes, Indian temples. You want to learn about India, I'll teach you all about India. That's the thing about freelancer. You want it, I give it to you. um and that's the career pathway you can choose. But remember, if you're going to that pathway, get your ABN, because technically you need to have an Australian business number in order to do that, and keep your funds aside for tax and super, because you need to consider that as well when you're filing your tax application. And to not make your accounting super tricky, I would say make a separate account for all your ABN and TFN cash, and do it in terms of a way that it's um, easier for you or your accountant when you do it towards the end. Oh, well, I guess that is a lot of valuable information, and I've been yapping straight up for 35 minutes straight about all these valuable international student essentials. And I hope this would be something that would be really, really helpful for all the incoming international students, or international students who are already in the September 2025 intake in different countries, or are planning for February 2026 or July 2026 update. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know through the text or comment on this video, or message me on my Instagram, and I would be more than happy to help. Um, and that's it for this episode. I hope to see you all next week, same time, with a new topic. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to everyone who is live on YouTube as well as on Veroni. I really appreciate that. Thank you, and I will see you all next week. Bye bye.